Hello everyone, how y'all doing? I'm back. So this video, I just want to talk about a lot of things because I know everyone who's subscribed to my channel is just waiting on this for over a year. And first of all, I apologize for that because a lot of it is my fault, although some of that delay is due to some life stuff getting in the way, and I'll explain it shortly exactly what happened there. But first of all, I've got a new mic. It's a Razer Siren Mini. Oh, it's a Razer product. Razer's cringe, but it was at a really good discount, and it's better than a Blue Snowball. So, you know, I'm going to take what I can get.
Wow, 5K. Well, oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. What? Oh my god, if I got that guy, I would have won. What the f? It was a 1v6? No, 1v7. What?
But yeah, it's way better than the previous microphone I had, I'm sure. But yeah, so what exactly happened with this project? Why didn't I finish it? Because I'm pretty sure that if I was determined enough, and if I had, you know, the mental aspect going way back in 2021, I would have finished this in 2021, but I didn't do that. Why? This video isn't just about Meet the Soldier Source 2, it's actually about a lot of stuff. Here are a few things I want to talk about. So first, about what you guys are actually caring about, the project itself. How's it going? But I'll also give you guys a timeline of events as to what has happened since that video was announced, and also some stuff that happened before it that led to the video being created in the first place. I'm also going to talk a lot about lighting because it is one of my biggest concerns with this project. And also meeting Kaya, which is the producer of Team Fortress Source 2. I'll also be talking about other Source 2 projects, like the PL Badlands that I showed in Twitter. And also I'm going to talk about Neon Prime, because it's sort of the thing that is definitely going to happen soon, and I just want to speculate over it. But basically, I just want to give you guys an up-to-date status on Meet the Soldier Source 2 in its very, like, incomplete state. So yeah, this is the original scene that you guys watched over a year ago. If you compare it to the original, you can see that I did some changes to the lighting. And the key aspect of this project, and the main reason why I haven't worked on it a lot. In fact, I'm just going to show you guys literally the whole file. A little bit sped up here, but yeah, look at this. This is a very big file. Yeah, here's like you can tell how underdeveloped it is. But how do I even do this, right? How did I got this like animation, and like I ported it to this new engine? Well, first of all, what I did was I went over to the I just want to show you guys, in case you guys have your own SFM projects and you also happen to have Half-Life Alyx, you just go to Source Filmmaker and you go here, and then where's Elements, Sessions, Meet the Soldier, and bam, there's the file. And then what you do in Half-Life Alyx is you go to Content, or maybe it's in game. Actually, you should store it in game. In fact, if it wasn't for this stupid thing that you had to store it in game, we wouldn't have had another leak that Valve did when Half-Life Alyx released. But anyway, you have to go in game, add-ons, then the add-on that you have your file, and Elements, and then you put the file here. Although I only have the backup. But yeah, this is what you should do, because when I was cleaning my hard drive, I accidentally deleted the whole freaking project, and I had to do it again. But thankfully, because of my newly acquired knowledge, I managed to get to where it was very quickly. In fact, in just a single day. But after that day, I didn't do much for the project. Why? I'm going to show you guys the timeline. Yes, the timeline. Look at this. This is the timeline. So this is sort of the stuff that happened, and also that happened before, that led me to create Meet the Soldier Source 2 in the first place. So the first thing you'll notice is this thing, which is the item test port. I wanted to learn how to port maps to Source 2. So I started with item test because it's a very small map. In case, you know, it ends up backfiring, I could at least not spend too much time on it. And you know, this stuff grew on me, you know. And even though this is just a single tiny map, I did some changes to it. You know, I tried to improve the lighting. You can see the light map resolution is way better. Although the TFS2 version is definitely the best. You can see that the gate here doesn't have shadows. But yeah, this thing sort of was what sparked me to start porting stuff over quite a bit. The second thing that encouraged me to do Meet the Soldier Source 2 was this TF2 box art thing. So if you actually go on Google, and I actually can't believe that this is a thing, and you type TF2 box art, just type this, you'll see this image here. Yeah, I created this, and people really liked it. And of course, it did try to say in Source 2, and I put the sloppily put the Source 2 logo here. But this was actually made in Source 2, although I unfortunately lost the original file. Here's the evidence. So after that, I thought, hey, why not, import Meet the Soldier, the Source 2, because, when people think of TF2, they think of the SFM animations, and people really like this, even though it was just 17 seconds, just a single session that I completed. It got 500,000 views, and also all the subscribers. So a lot of people liked this, and they wanted to see it be completed. In fact, just a few days later, I posted the screen. In fact, I think it was just one day later. I posted the next scene. Yeah, the soldier screaming. Although this scene clearly isn't complete because the wires from the telephone, poles are missing. And I did everything I could. I even added, Source 2, ropes there, and it just doesn't show up. Yeah. So, why does this project never got completed, even though I could have completed it a long time ago? Well, that's because working on this project is really, really tiring. Anyone could do it, really, but it's just really, really tiring. Because what you need to do is, what happens is you get all the animation set data from the DMX file, even though it's in Source 1. And what you could do is you can actually copy and paste these samples, and you can go here and add a Source 2 model, because Source 1 and Source 2, like Source 1 assets do not work in Source 2. You have to convert them. So you convert all the Source 1 assets over to Source 2, and then you paste them. You basically copy them, although I think I deleted some of the original ones. And bam, you have your TF2 character walking around, although you do technically have just a copy of it. So you have to do this for every single animation set on every single, clip. But it's not just that. One of the biggest differences between this and Source 1 is the lighting. So this is what the animation looks without any lighting. And fun fact, this is how the original SFM file was when they made this animation, because the entire lighting was driven entirely by the pixel shaders. But because Source 2 shaders are completely different, they have completely different, because Half-Life Alyx's shaders are completely different, you have to light the character manually. And unfortunately, this is a very time-consuming process, because not only you have to get the lighting right, which is really, really hard, you have to make it look nice, and you have to track it with the soldier and stuff. And look at how I took advantage of the radius so I could get this knockoff Fresnel looking thing. Yeah, this was something that it took me a while. Now, this single shot, guys, took me so many attempts to make. Before I posted this version here, which is also, the lighting is completely different, with the blue, with the stupid blue rim light that made people think that the sunlight was blue, which, I get it. And this was one of my first attempts at doing the lighting, and as you can see, it looks like trash. And again, I tried. This wasn't one of the. This was the second or third attempt at lighting the scene, and it looked awful. So I went back to the original map and I tried to make it look closer. But yeah, this is sort of how it looks right now, and this is without the post processing, because one of the most important tools for making this look good, or at least belong to TF2, because this is my biggest challenge with this. I want to make sure that this animation not only looks good, it also belongs to the TF2 art style, because I can't just shove TF2 characters onto a modern engine and expect them to look good, because that's exactly what happens if you do them in Source 2. If you just shove TF2 characters into Source 2 with the Half-Life Alyx shaders, they look like trash. So I have to take my time and actually light them up properly, and this is very time consuming. And I've only done this mostly for the soldier, which is obviously the star of the show. But if you look at the demo man over here, yeah, the demo man doesn't look that confident. Let's go to that big scene. It's gonna be a pain. Yeah, this scene here. Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway, let's go here. Go to the worker camera. Look at this guy over here. I added a little rim light on him, but he just doesn't look right. By the way, I gotta give shout outs to like KCTube and Maxi for porting over these models. But yeah, look at this. Look at that. You can, yeah, these assets weren't made with physically based shaders in mind. So I have to, you know, adapt them for physically based shading, but you know, it's not perfect. You can see here because whoever made this wanted to have a small specular highlights just like in the original animation. Now we can see the freaking map reflection on the ear muff, which is like a cloth material. Let's look at the demo man over here, and oh my god, what's going on? Why does he look orange a bit? Well, that's because of the subsurface scattering from the Half-Life Alyx shader, and I had to disable these for the TF2 mercenaries, even though technically it makes sense, because I know some SFM animators tried emulating this by manually placing like a light like behind the ear and stuff. It just doesn't look great on TF2 characters. Yeah, these unlit characters, yeah, they look like if you're running TF2 on DirectX 8 or with like a config, because you don't have any part of the lighting. And this will get me to my second part of the video, which is, let's get back to this like timeline here. You can see here I do meet the soldier Source 2, and this was during the beginning of my senior year. But yeah, this system was just a mess, and it destroyed my mental health, and so I didn't care. It was just awful. I stopped doing this. But in the latter half of my senior year, instead of just stressing myself out, I decided to do something that I wanted to do, and that was study the TF2 lighting, specifically the TF2 character lighting. Now, there's some amazing resources out there for you to do this. Jason Mitchell has made some amazing papers on the TF2 lighting, and even the equation that goes behind it, like the equation that to figure out the color of each pixel on screen. It's amazing, but it's a very long equation, but if you know vectors, you can get it, okay, despite it being long. If you get vectors, if you know the Phong equation, you can get it. And this was very important for Meet the Soldier Source 2, because for instance, this part here, because it made me learn exactly why the soldier looks the way he does, like what goes into like each part that makes the soldier look like the soldier. So of course I took that knowledge to make the lighting in this more accurate to the game. And it's not just the lighting that saves this animation from looking like trash, because most of the time if you port something from Source 1, it's gonna look like trash. It's also the post-processing, and this is something that really is a lifesaver. And you can see here that with it, I can add a little bit more vibrance, although I will tone it down a bit, actually, now that I know more about the art style. Yeah, TF2 isn't super vibrant, actually. And yes, and yeah, this is really the biggest problem. It's not just this. There's this scene where, like here, where the spy, like this clip, there's supposed to be a spy cloaking here, and we don't have the shader for the spy cloak. There is a shader in Dota 2, but there's not one in there's not one in Half-Life Alyx. We do have someone, Rob, that knows how the spy invisibility shader works, so maybe he could pass some of that knowledge so I could recreate it in a video editing program. But yeah, this is one of my biggest concerns, because we can't recreate the spy. Another problem with this animation that I kept running across is that pretty much every single particle effect I tried, like, also there's this weird issue where if I go back, like the soldier's like head like disappears. It's so weird. Every single particle effect, I had to add it manually, and like this animation sure has quite a bit of like more. It's probably the one with the most particle effects. Although it would not have been possible if it wasn't for the amazing people at the Team Fortress Source 2 team who have actually ported the particles themselves, because this is not something you can do in Alex. You have to have source1 import.exe, and that's only available in Sandbox. So thank you, Justin, for the particles. Yeah, Justin is a very good man. Anyway, what happened here also that was important was that, eventually after high school ended, closing in this absolutely awful chapter of my life, those 4 years were awful. I met Kaya in Paris, which is the producer for Team Fortress Source 2. And a lot of things were like clear on that meeting. That Source 2 really has some issues with lighting, specifically with like tone mapping. We probably need to know better how to like adjust it and stuff, but getting the lighting to look faithful to TF2 is very, very time consuming, which is why Justin's port Viaduct is so awesome, because it gets the lighting really, really close, and that's something that's really, really painful to do. And it's something that when working on Bad Water Basin that I paid a lot of attention to, but of course I didn't get it. Like what I'm trying to get here is that the biggest challenge with pointing stuff to Source 2 is getting the lighting right. And unfortunately, I'm still in the process of doing it. Maybe in the future I will. This thing is going to be ready, and it's going to look great, and it's going to look like Team Fortress animation, because I really don't want to shit on the TF2 art style. Don't want to absolutely destroy these characters, because these characters, they mean a lot to people. But yeah, after I finished meeting Kaya, now this was sort of the time period where I could actually work on it. It's way shorter actually. It was like just a little bit of what was left in July and June. Then I spent 3 months in Denmark. My aunt invited me to help her out, and it was a great opportunity and stuff. But the problem was that I no longer had my computer. I had this awful laptop, which is the Dell Inspiron 7559, which is a budget gaming laptop from 2015. Yeah, it did not run Source 2 tools very well, so I just kept the project on hold. Even though I did actually back it up on Google Drive, I just could not work on it. So I literally just spent 3 months in Denmark and no progress whatsoever. So now we are here, I guess, right at the end of the year. I did some more exams. I applied to some universities and stuff. And now, what is up with this project? Well, I have, shifted a little bit away from it. I was getting a little bit burned out of it, because like placing the animation sets, trying to make it look, also having like SFM, like you may think, oh, Source 2 is like the perfect version of Source. No, Source 2 also has its faults, and it like the cables not showing up, or some animation sets just not being accessible at all. This stuff, and also spending a lot of time with trying to properly light up these characters. It's just a lot of work. But anyway, I wanted to learn how to use Source 2 better, so I spent some time working on other projects that is not this one. And I've been working on a remake. You can see here. I talked a little bit about Badlands. You can check my Twitter for it. I have been redoing some of the map geometry, because the lighting just doesn't do well with some of the brushes that were converted into meshes. But I've also been working on this CSCZD SVR, which is basically a recreation of a level in Half-Life Alyx from Counter-Strike Conditions Zero Deleted Scenes. Now, I know a lot of people do not like that game, but I thought that one particular level could actually work well in virtual reality. And inspired by Gunman Chronicles, I could maybe recreate that level and, in high quality, and, change the enemy placement, make it like fun and engaging. So yeah, that, and also that newspaper thing on Twitter, I was basically taking a Half-Life Alyx model and using it to make like an upper-res version of the newspaper like prop in the game. But yeah, these projects are mostly concerned with this, improving my skills with Source 2, specifically with lighting and using properly like doing meshes. Because the thing is with Source 2 is that making a map in Source 2 is really different from making a map in Source 1. In fact, it's completely different. Instead of like using brushes and stuff, which are these convex 3D primitives and stuff, you use meshes, and that's sort of like you're modeling the map out. And this is one of the key reasons why I think that workshop, like keeping the workshop for CSGO is going to be hard if they're going to port the game to Source 2. But yeah, now let's talk about something that doesn't have anything to do with any of this. So I hope this was a nice update into what happened with this project. But you can see I did actually work more on some of the clips. I still need to port some of the assets over. As you can see here, it's like 2 a.m. because I had the idea for this video like very recently, and I felt that if I woke up tomorrow and tried to do it, I wouldn't end up doing it. But anyway, you know, I really want to talk about Neon Prime because, you know, it's Valve's next game, and I really am curious as to what exactly it is. Hey guys, Editing Gabriel here. This part of the video was just a huge waste of time. I literally spend 10 minutes just saying random bullcrap. Yeah, it wasn't even speculation, it was mostly like a wish of what I wanted the game to be. I tried to like somehow connect it to the TF universe because, you know, I like Team Fortress, not because this game actually has a chance of being a Team Fortress game, but because I just happen to like TF and kind of tried to make it like a TF game. But anyway, according to some rumors, there's actually a chance that Neon Prime might be in the Dota universe, which, I mean, come on, Valve. It's the 3rd time you guys make a Dota game. Now, of course, it's just a rumor. It doesn't mean it might actually be Dota related, but if it is, I'll be pretty disappointed. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'll just skip the game outright. I'll still play it and all to try it out. But if it is heavily connected to the Dota universe, I'll be pretty sad because, I mean, Valve has so many great IPs, and apparently the Dota IP just happens to fit anything. It'll be the 3rd time they make a Dota spin-off game, and hopefully it just ends up not being abandoned like 3 months later, just like how they kind of did with Artifact and Underlords. I mean, sure, with Artifact they tried to like remake it, but Underlords was like, hey, 2nd season right around the corner, and then they canceled it and they just went silent about it. Meanwhile, you have games like Team Fortress, which still has a relatively large player base, not as large as CSGO or Dota, but still larger than a lot of games on Steam, and they just don't give a crap about it. And even if you look at Dota and Counter-Strike, these games, like a lot of people play them, including myself, specifically Counter-Strike, would state that Valve just doesn't give as much support as they want. And if Valve is willing to make Neon Prime like their 4th live service game, it's gonna be complicated for people that play, you know, Dota and Counter-Strike. Are they going to get enough support after they have their 4th freaking live service? Because, I mean, Team Fortress barely gets any updates because they have to focus on other stuff. What about Neon Prime? Will they be like super supportive of it, or will they just abandon the game like they did with like so many other games or projects that they've made? Even Half-Life Alyx right now is in desperate need of like updates to like fix some stuff with the workshop, and they'll probably never do it. But anyway, I'm really excited to see what this game actually is. If it is a new IP, I'll be pretty happy. If it is a Half-Life game, I'll be also very, very happy because, I mean, more Half-Life is always a good thing. But yeah, like, this game is just an enigma. Hopefully it's not a Dota game. Also, where's the 4th operation, Valve? So yeah, if you're still here, thank you for sticking through this video all the way through. I have no idea how I maintained your retention. Like, this video was just a mess. I hope this information about the project happened to be helpful. I know that throughout the video I sort of blame like external factors a little bit too much, when in reality it really is a little bit personal. Like, sometimes instead of working on this, I would just go play TF2. It's mostly on me than anything else. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a great day, and bye-bye.